All right, so let's dive right into this. We're talking about prepping for a wood technology engineer interview.
Which is, yeah, a really fascinating field, you know? It's this really cool blend of creativity and engineering.
Exactly. And we've got all these RoleCatcher resources, career guides, interview guides, even some AI stuff to help you really nail it.
It's not just working with wood, it's about developing like whole new materials and coming up with innovative designs.
And maybe even designing those whole production facilities.
Oh, for sure, there's so much to it.
Okay, so let's jump right into some potential questions you might get hit with in the interview and how to knock them out of the park. So first one, what inspired you to pursue a career in wood technology engineering? Seems pretty straightforward, but
Hmm.
how do you make your answer really stand out?
You gotta let that passion shine through, you know? It's your chance to really connect with the interviewer, like on a personal level.
Mm.
Was there a project that really sparked your interest, or were you always just fascinated by wood itself?
Maybe the whole sustainability aspect really grabbed you.
All right, whatever it is, let that enthusiasm show. Don't be afraid to get a little personal.
So instead of just saying, like, I like working with wood, you got to tell a story, right?
Absolutely.
Like, reveal your why.
Yeah.
Maybe you built a tree house as a kid and just fell in love with the whole process, or maybe you were inspired by, I don't know, a documentary about sustainable architecture.
Exactly. And you know what else you could do? Tie it back to the company you're interviewing with.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Like, mention a project they've done that you really admire.
Yeah.
Explain why you'd want to be part of their team.
Shows you've done your research, that you're genuinely interested. That's smart. Okay, next question. How do you ensure the quality and safety of wood products during production? Now, this one gets a bit more technical, right? So how would someone approach this?
This is where you really demonstrate your knowledge of, industry standards, best practices, talk about specific quality control measures you've implemented or are familiar with, things like regular inspections, proper handling, all those safety protocols.
Right, right. And you could throw in things like mentioning certifications, like from the Forest Stewardship Council, the FSC, or OSHA,
Exactly. Shows you're aware of the regulations.
that you're in the loop.
Yeah, and don't forget to emphasize, like, the importance of a safe work environment.
Right, safety first, always.
Exactly. It shows you care about the well-being of everyone involved, not just about churning out product.
Makes sense. Okay, next one. What are the most important factors to consider when designing a wood product? This feels like it could go in a million directions.
Oh, it totally can. You got to hit all the angles, functionality, aesthetics, durability, and of course, we can't forget sustainability.
It's about finding that balance where form meets function, but it's got to be good for the planet too. Maybe even talk about a specific wood product design you admire and really break down why it works so well.
Exactly. And you could even use this to highlight your knowledge of different wood species, like their properties.
Oh, that's good.
You know, if you're designing outdoor furniture, you're not going to use just any wood. You want something durable, something that can handle the elements.
Shows you're thinking about the materials, not just the design. All right, let's move on to the tech side of things. Can you describe your experience with CAD software? Pretty standard question for any engineering role these days.
Oh, absolutely. CAD software is like essential for wood technology engineers.
You can be using it for pretty much everything, right? Designing products, technical drawings, even planning those whole production facilities.
For sure. So just be honest about your skill level, highlight specific programs you've used, maybe talk about projects where you really utilized CAD.
Like a complex furniture design or, like you said, a production facility layout.
And even if you're still learning, emphasize that willingness to grow, to adapt to new technologies. Mention any online courses or workshops you've taken to, really hone those skills.
Okay, good stuff. Next up, how do you stay up to date with industry trends and advancements in wood technology engineering? The field's evolving so quickly, how do you show you're on top of things?
Definitely talk about those resources. Industry publications, online forums, conferences, professional organizations like the Forest Products Society, the Society of Wood Science and Technology.
Oh, right. Maybe even bring up a recent innovation that's caught your eye.
Exactly. And explain why it excites you. Like maybe it's the development of bio-based materials or 3D printing with wood.
Right, the cutting edge stuff.
And don't just talk about knowing stuff, you got to show you're applying it too. Give an example of how you incorporated like a new trend or tech into your work.
Great point. Okay, let's move on to a question that tests those organizational skills. How do you manage and prioritize multiple projects and deadlines? I feel like everyone gets asked this one at some point.
Oh, it's a classic. And it's your chance to show you can handle the pressure, that you're organized, even in a fast-paced environment. Talk about your process? Do you use project management software? Do you have like a color-coded spreadsheet system?
Whatever works for you.
Exactly. Just lay it out clearly. Show how it helps you stay on top of everything.
Don't be afraid to get specific. Give an example of a time you juggled multiple projects and still hit all the deadlines. Maybe you had to prioritize certain tasks or delegate to teammates.
Right. Whatever you did to get it done. It's all about proving you can manage your time and still deliver.
Okay, let's talk industry knowledge. How do you ensure that wood products meet regulatory requirements? There are a lot of rules and regs when it comes to manufacturing.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in the wood industry. So this question is really testing your awareness, right?
Absolutely. They want to see if you're committed to compliance. Think about things like those environmental regulations, the safety standards, labeling requirements, all of that.
You really want to showcase your knowledge of those specific regulations and how you've actually implemented them in the past.
Real-world examples are key.
Right. Like you could talk about working with the Forest Stewardship Council, the FSC, to make sure you're sourcing wood sustainably, or how you made sure a production facility met OSHA safety standards.
Exactly. It shows you're not just reciting facts, you're actually putting them into practice.
Okay, here's a big one. What steps do you take to minimize waste and environmental impact in wood product manufacturing? Sustainability is huge these days, so I bet interviewers are really paying attention to this.
They definitely are. It's about showing your commitment to those environmentally responsible practices.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just knowing the buzzwords. It's about understanding the practical side of things.
So you might talk about your experience with efficient production processes, waste reduction strategies, maybe using recycled materials or sourcing from those responsibly managed forests.
Right. And again, a specific example from your past experience can really bring it home for them. Did you put a new system in place that actually reduced waste? Or led a project focused on sustainable sourcing? Tell that story. Let them see you're passionate about this.
All right, last question for this part. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem in wood product manufacturing? Everyone loves a good problem-solving story, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a classic for a reason.
It lets the interviewers see how you think on your feet, how you analyze the situation and come up with that solution.
Exactly.
So pick a specific situation where you faced a real challenge. Maybe a piece of equipment went down, or, I don't know, a batch of materials didn't meet quality standards, and really walk them through your thought process.
Right. How'd you even identify the problem? What were the steps you took to diagnose it? Did you have to consult with other people?
Were there specific resources you had to use?
Exactly. And most importantly, what was the outcome? Did you fix it?
What did you learn from that whole experience?
Because everyone makes mistakes, it's about what you take away from them.
This is your chance to show off your analytical skills, your ability to handle pressure.
Yeah.
So we've covered some common interview questions for wood technology engineer roles. But before we move on to career insights and how RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you prep for this interview, let's take a quick pause.
Okay, so we've tackled some of those tough interview questions. Now, let's sort of shift gears and talk about the bigger picture. What's it actually like to be a wood technology engineer?
It's definitely dynamic. You get a mix of office and manufacturing settings.
Oh, cool.
One day you might be designing a brand new product using CAD software, and the next you're out on the production floor overseeing the whole manufacturing process.
Yeah, I was just looking at the RoleCatcher Career Guide,
Right.
and it mentioned that it can be physically demanding at times.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to be on your feet a lot, probably lifting heavy objects, working around machinery.
So you got to be comfortable in that kind of environment.
Definitely. What about the job outlook? Is there a high demand for wood technology engineers these days?
The job market looks pretty promising, actually. There's a growing need for skilled professionals who can design, develop, and manufacture these innovative wood products, especially now with this huge focus on sustainability.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But like any job, there are pros and cons. What are some of the challenges someone might face going into this field?
One challenge could be, location. The best positions might require you to relocate.
Makes sense. What else?
And depending on the specific processes involved, there could be exposure to hazardous materials in like wood treatment facilities. So safety protocols, protective gear, those are essential.
Right. Safety is always a top priority.
Yeah.
Any other downsides to be aware of?
Well, like many engineering roles, there's the potential for, long hours, tight deadlines, especially when projects are really in full swing.
So it's not always a 9 to 5 kind of gig.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who's really passionate about wood technology
Mhm.
and, driven to innovate, it sounds like the rewards probably outweigh the challenges.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what can really give you a leg up in the job search?
What's that?
RoleCatcher's AI. It's incredibly helpful for tailoring your answers to those specific job roles.
Okay, so how does that work?
Imagine you're practicing your answer to, let's say, what steps do you take to minimize waste and environmental impact?
Hmm.
You can actually input your response into RoleCatcher's AI, and it will analyze it based on that specific job description.
Oh, wow. So it's like having a personalized coach telling you if you're hitting the right points using the right keywords.
Exactly. It can even suggest like phrases or specific examples to incorporate based on what employers are looking for.
That's amazing. Takes a lot of the guesswork out of prepping.
And it goes beyond just interview questions, too. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your resume, and it can actually identify any missing skills that are mentioned in the job posting.
Oh, so it helps you build a resume that's like super targeted to that specific role.
Exactly. And make sure you're highlighting those skills, that experience that the employer really cares about. It's like having a personal recruiter working behind the scenes.
That's super helpful, especially in like such a competitive job market.
Uh,
So we've covered interview questions, we've talked about career insights, how RoleCatcher's AI can help you prepare. Now, let's actually delve into the essential skills you need to succeed as a wood technology engineer.
Well, according to the RoleCatcher Career Guide, you got to have a strong foundation in wood science.
Yeah.
You need to understand the properties of different wood species, how they behave under different conditions, and how to choose the right materials for the job.
Right, it's not just about knowing how to work with wood, it's about understanding the science behind it.
Exactly. Then there's the engineering side. You need that solid understanding of those engineering principles and how they actually apply to wood construction and manufacturing. Things like structural design, load calculations, knowledge of all those different wood processing techniques.
And of course, like we mentioned before, you got to know your way around CAD software.
Absolutely, it's essential.
And with the increasing focus on sustainability, you need to be up on your sustainable forestry practices, those eco-friendly manufacturing processes.
Definitely. You got to be able to design products that are not only functional and good looking, but also environmentally responsible.
Now, what about those soft skills? Are there any particular traits that are really important for word technology engineers?
Communication skills are huge. You're going to be interacting with so many different people, clients, suppliers, production teams, other engineers. You need to be able to explain complex stuff clearly, both verbally and in writing.
Being able to give a good presentation is probably important too, right?
Oh, for sure. You might have to present designs to clients, explain those manufacturing processes to colleagues, or even share your research findings at a conference.
So what other soft skills are key?
Problem solving is a must.
Okay.
Things don't always go as planned, so you got to be able to think on your feet, analyze the situation, and come up with solutions quickly.
Yeah, we saw that reflected in that interview question about troubleshooting, right?
Exactly. And teamwork is another essential one. You're going to be collaborating with other engineers, designers, production staff, clients. You got to be able to listen, contribute, be a real team player.
Sounds like there's a big emphasis on collaboration in this field.
There is, and don't forget about those time management and organizational skills. You're likely going to be juggling multiple projects, deadlines, so being able to prioritize and manage your time is super important.
So it's definitely a challenging field, but a rewarding one, for the right person. With the right preparation and resources, you can definitely nail that interview and have a really successful career in wood technology engineering.
Absolutely, and remember, RoleCatcher can really help you along that journey.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, but I feel like there's always more to learn when it comes to this field. What are some resources people could explore to really, deepen their knowledge?
Well, honestly, the RoleCatcher platform itself is a really good place to start. They've got tons of information on there, career guides, skill guides, interview guides, all specifically for wood technology engineers.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive. And they even offer a free version so you can poke around, try out those AI features before you commit to anything.
Oh, that's nice. So beyond RoleCatcher, what other resources would you recommend?
Those professional organizations are great, like the Forest Products Society, the Society of Wood Science and Technology.
Mhm.
Those are like gold mines. They've got conferences, publications, even just networking opportunities.
Yeah, you can connect with other people in the field, see what they're working on.
Exactly. And honestly, don't underestimate hands-on experience. Volunteering for a woodworking project, taking a carpentry class, even just spending some time at a local wood shop, watching how they do things.
Absolutely. It all helps. It gives you those insights, those practical skills you just can't get from a book.
Yeah, it's all about immersing yourself,
Yeah.
constantly learning, exploring.
The more you learn, the more passionate you'll become, and that's really going to show in those interviews throughout your whole career.
So as you're prepping for this interview, think back to what got you excited about this in the first place. What gets you fired up about the future of wood technology?
Right, what's that thing that makes you go, wow?
Is it the possibility of creating these super sustainable building materials? Or maybe you're fascinated by, like, bio-based products replacing plastics.
Maybe it's the artistry of working with wood
That craftsmanship.
or pushing the boundaries of engineering with this material that's been around forever but still has so much potential.
Exactly. Whatever it is, hold on to that feeling. Let it drive you as you prepare,
Yeah.
and let it show when you walk into that interview room.
Because when you're passionate, people can tell. It makes you stand out.
Makes you memorable, and that's what you want. Yeah.
It's what'll help you get the job. So as you go into that interview, remember everything we talked about, the technical skills, those industry trends, and most importantly, how to showcase your passion.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI is there to help you every step of the way.
You got this. The future of wood technology is waiting.
Good luck. And hey, let that passion for wood guide you. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.